this edition of HCS Matters. My name is John Wright. I'm the Director of Public Relations for Hardin County Schools. We're taping this in early January. It's hard to believe we've already crossed into the second half of the school year with no snow days so far. That's a great thing, and it's amazing how quick time flies. But everyone knows that. But obviously, as we cross into the second half of the year, a lot of things come across as we're nearing that finish line, and that is the end of the senior year. And that's why we normally sit down with some counselors from our high schools to talk about how that senior year transpires. And about 1,000 students will walk across our graduation stages by the time everything is said and done at our 3 high schools. And so we have a couple of our guidance counselors here today, Chris Adams from Central Hardin High School and Jamie Cheatwood from North Hardin High School. And guys, you're probably seeing more customers, I guess, is a fair way to say that, creeping into your offices now that we're back from the winter break.
Starting to do that. I'm starting to request people get names for their diplomas so we can get started on that, get a jump on there. And the student athletes, we're NAIA, NCAA, starting to pick that up too now too. They've done their signings and realized, oh wait, I had to send my transcripts. So.
Lots of that and fee waivers. I feel like I am constantly doing fee waivers.
Right, and fee waivers are for the applications that either the colleges want an outlandish amount of money to process an application. But so let's kind of talk about some generic stuff. I'm a high school senior, and I want to go to college next year. I just don't know where I want to go. It's January. As we tape this, it's the 5th of January. What do I need to do, guys, to start making that next step? Am I behind? Where am I in the process?
You're not behind. I think we may see some that have panicked, already thinking, oh no, I haven't gotten accepted and it's already January. Most of the colleges, the early decisions were done in December. But most of your state colleges, you have until February 15th on there. If you haven't gotten in through that, you've still got plenty of time, but you do need to get on there at this time. And they need to make sure their FAFSA is done. That's FAFSA. It used to be this time of year we'd be saying, start your FAFSA. Now that FAFSA is in October, they should be getting those FAFSAs, if they haven't completed, getting those finished up so they can get the reports back and start narrowing down what colleges they're going to.
FAFSA, free
Application Federal Student Aid.
Thank you. I know there was an acronym there, but so Ms. Cheatwood, if I haven't filled out my FAFSA, is that money gone?
It's not gone.
Okay.
They do say get it in as early as possible because the earlier you're going to have a bigger pool of money, but it's not gone. They probably want to sit down at home with their guardians and get that tax information. I was a first-generation college student myself, and I had to sit at that computer and figure all this out. It can be very overwhelming.
Right. That's what I was going to ask. The FAFSA is not an easy task,
no.
Is it? Yeah.
It's not easy, but it's not impossible.
Right.
Especially if you're going to college, it's a good critical thinking activity to do before you get there. But North Hardin, and I'm sure Central, we have people who will help you if you need help, whether that's a college coach or a counselor.
And we also have contacts through KIA, and we can get with some of the financial aid offices like ECTC, people who are more expert in it. That, like when you and I had to fill it out on paper, it's a little different than that, John, right?
Thankfully so. But like you said, Ms. Cheatwood, and that's a great point. There are a lot of still are, and that's okay, still are a lot of first-generation college students, so filling it out can be overwhelming, but like you said, there is help there for you.
Absolutely.
So there's I'm not too late. I can still find some grant money if I need to find some assistance there, but if I know that I probably won't qualify for that grant money, I still need to fill out that FAFSA, don't I?
Yes, if you're doing work study, if you're going to be doing any work on campus, the colleges are going to require you to have a FAFSA for that. And many student loans. It's not just grant money, it's also student loans. It tells you what type of student loans you qualify for. So if you're getting any kind or going to need any kind of financial aid, you need to go ahead and get that FAFSA filled out. And while the first year is tough, with it being online, everything's in there. After this year, it's a whole lot easier because all you have to do is go in and update the tax information each year after that, you and your parents.
Okay.
And the good thing is it's looking at last year's tax information, so you don't need to wait till April to get that done if you have some families. It's going on the previous year's tax information because they start in October, so they should already have all that together.
Awesome.
And get that
awesome. So does it generate, Mr. Adams, like if I'm a senior parent, and do they know, or do I have to put that information in about my tax information?
You'll have to put it in
Okay.
to start with, and then but once they have it in, then they can. There is a way that it can download that previous years, and you just go in and verify
Great.
in future years.
That's wonderful. The power of technology. So I'm not too late. I have some grant money available. FAFSA is still available. Now scholarships. Well, scholarship is a whole different ballgame, right?
Well, you just said power of technology.
Yeah.
We have Scholarship Central,
Yeah.
which just went live on January 1st. Central Kentucky Community Foundation. I think there are over 160 scholarships now.
Like $350,000 available.
So much out there. I don't know how many Jamie's had. I've already had probably 12 to 15. And January 1st, I was sending out a remind, and my email started beeping right after that, as I had 6 or 7 who did it that day.
Right, that's
and
wonderful.
I get them at 2 or 3 a day that are coming out. Plus your local scholarships, usually even the ones that aren't CKCF. We will start getting those in one after the other, January, February. And that will be going in through April, a lot of those to get them in.
And Ms. Cheatwood, those local scholarships provide a lot of assistance for our students, don't they?
Absolutely. I mean, you have everything from $500, which would cover some books, up to $3,500 and beyond, $5,000. So we have some great organizations through all of Hardin County that provide money for our students. I will also add, with the FAFSA conversation and scholarships, a lot of colleges are now doing their own scholarship program where if you get that FAFSA in, they go through hundreds of scholarships and they will award those just by filling out the FAFSA and your application. So you can get them very easily by applying and doing your FAFSA.
Because on the FAFSA, it asks you, where are you interested in going to school? So it sends that information to a WKU or University of Kentucky or Northern Kentucky or wherever.
Yes.
Well, and keep in mind, Sarah, your regional schools, Eastern, Western, Murray, Moorhead, have automatic qualifying scholarships as well. Once they get your transcript in there and they see what your GPA is, and most of them have dropped the ACT requirement, you're guaranteed $4,000. I think Western, if you have above a 3.5, you're going to hit $4,000. Then if you have ACTs, they have ones that bump up after that. I believe either Murray or Moorhead, one of the two, has a percentage of your tuition that's guaranteed based on your GPA. So those are automatic qualifiers that as soon as you have applied there and they get your transcript, they'll know how much you're eligible for.
Yeah.
And for Pell Grant eligible students, multiple colleges now are waiving tuition if you get a amount of a Pell Grant. I know WKU and then U of L just recently sent out the Cardinal Promise.
And they're adding that to what it is that covers up to the full cost of the tuition.
Wow.
Yeah.
If you get the Pell Grant, whatever scholarships, they will cover the difference to get you up to full tuition.
Wow.
For that.
I think, it may be just me, you're around my age, probably younger. Is it easier now? I mean, we have parents that are watching that are, I'm 50, I will be 50 in June.
Whippersnapper.
Right, so we have parents my age and younger and some older. Things were much more difficult not when Ms. Cheatwood's the baby, but things were much more difficult when we applied for college or when we did this. Even Ms. Cheatwood, things were more difficult. It's a whole lot easier now. I guess my question is, or my statement is, don't be afraid. Parents, don't be afraid.
And it's changed. This is my 9th year as a counselor. The way things have changed so much just in that 9 years. FAFSA going from February to October. What's the difference in that? Well, when you applied in February, you didn't get your report till April. By then, you'd already picked your school. You're saying, I hope I have enough money to pay for college. By doing it in October, you get your report in December. Then you are saying, which college gives me the most money? And you can make a much better decision for our students and parents as to what we're going to do. Do I need to get loans? Can I get more scholarships? And know how many more I can apply for on that. With these automatic qualifying scholarships, those are within the past 8 or 9 years. And that makes things a whole lot better. And the schools, as they get competitive and they want to get students, how do we keep them? You have seen these, even UK and U of L are giving some. They're not as big on some of them, and it's not going to cover as much, but they have realized we're going to start losing to these regional universities. We need to get them coming here, and they've changed where they now have some automatic qualifiers.
Yeah, go ahead, Ms. Sheila.
I really do think it's kind of started to flip, not for everybody, but it used to be what college do you want to go to, and all your eggs were in that basket. But like you said, now kids get to be selective. It might not be that you dreamed of going to this university, but they're going to give you the most money, and that's going to be a better financial decision for your future. So I think that thought process has flipped a little bit.
Right, and still the thought is still relevant and still justified that college is expensive.
Absolutely.
And it is super expensive. Is it fair to say there is, if you know where to look and pursue those avenues, it's doable?
It's not even expensive in some cases.
Right.
We have a great resource in ECTC. And I tell students now, have you heard of the Work Ready Scholarship?
Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
And which I'm still surprised that students haven't. And I tell students, when you go to ECTC, your first question is just, what do I have to do? What programs do you have? And second, how do I get a work-ready scholarship? I mean, do you students understand that you can get your tuition free for 2 years if you go in it? And they have over 90 programs you can do that in.
So talk about that, Ms.
And it's state of Kentucky came up with this about 4 or 5 years ago, and it just, if you are in certain areas that the state says they have need in, they will pay for your 2 years of college up to your first degree to go into those areas. Nursing falls in there, automotive falls in there, computers fall under there. There are so many options students have and it's local.
Right, and it's careers that you can make lots of money in after you get just that certification or just that degree.
And it's not
in
even 2 years.
ECTC.
Some of them are a 6-month certificate
Wow.
that you can get those in.
Right,
And I
right.
believe EC3 utilizes that quite a bit for all of their programs since they are trying to switch to so many dual credit offerings. So free college is absolutely right at their fingertips.
I'm let's say I'm a high school junior. In January of my junior year, it's probably not too early to get the ball rolling, is it? Or to start looking.
Explore.
Explore.
Investigate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've got time. Take some visits. Go see where the schools are. Set those up during the summer, and go start looking at that time. Yes, you can look at your spring break. Look at some of those days when we have off. Professional Learning Day, which is a school day at the colleges. That's a great time to go down because then you can see what the classes actually look like. I tell the kids, we would go on a Saturday. The college Saturdays come down because they want you to see the atmosphere of a football game, but you won't see the inside of a classroom.
Right.
And I caution students, go do that now. Go see it during a school day and see what those classes look like.
Because all three of our high schools offer days where we can. I don't even know if it's an excused absence. It's a day that you can go and use and
Yes.
take those visits.
Yes.
So, okay. So I'm ready for college, or somewhat ready now for college. What do I need to do to take those final steps before I graduate and take that next leap?
One thing, if you are going to college, I usually caution mine, save one of those college visit days because you're going to have to go on campus and register. And you want to make sure if Central offers 3 between the junior and senior year. So I try to tell them, use some of those days we aren't in school to do it because you want to save one. You can go down and register for your classes. The other one, make sure you're on Parchment. Parchment.com is how we send all the transcripts. And you have to make sure you order that final transcript after school's out. Because if you don't, you will be calling me, calling Miss Cheatwood, calling John Harden saying, why didn't you send my transcript? Because you didn't order it.
Okay.
And we don't know exactly where. Some students, even after graduation, haven't decided where they're going.
Yeah.
And they have to have that final transcript in order to register for the second semester over there.
Talk about accountability. I mean, we do a lot of, as a parent, all three of us, we do a lot for our kids, but now that senior year, that's really time to, hey, this is on you. So talk about how, students, you should really be a big part of this process.
Right.
Yeah.
I think any junior that is thinking of their future already, they need to take senior year seriously. I
Yes.
feel like it's the easy way out to take some electives and to not do anything that's going to challenge you. But if you already are planning as a junior, take senior year seriously, knock out some dual credit classes. And then when you are in that senior year, it sounds maybe a little like old age, but an agenda will do wonders because you can put your dates in your agenda to make sure that you don't miss anything that's important. And then pay attention to announcements. We utilize Google Classroom for all of our announcements, and so if they are just following along and paying attention, we send out reminders. Really, that's where the accountability comes from. We're not going to do it for you because we don't know all of the choices.
Right.
And they have to...
And their interest, what I want to major in.
Yeah.
Right.
So they've got to take that ownership of their future and not wait. So an agenda can do wonders. Contact us, ask questions. So many are just like, I didn't know, but they never asked questions.
Right, and this is where we live. We all know that, but there are plenty of resources available that you all, that you just mentioned,
Absolutely.
that go through this. So social media, all that good stuff. And it's probably a fair to say that guys, that our students should be on those colleges' social media pages as well, and link up to those admissions offices and things like that.
And they send so much out. I know Western. My Twitter feed, it blows up when there are certain days during the year, and you'll see Western will drop numerous ones. U of L has certain ones, and it seems like every one of their schools, and that when there's an important thing, they'll all pop up at one time, and you can just see boom, 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 6 or 7 schools within that school, the different colleges within that school, send notices out at the same time. Hey, remember, here's the deadline for this scholarship. Here's the deadline for housing.
Right. Going back to scholarships. I think when I was a high school senior many years ago, I had the misnomer of I didn't have a 4.0 or a 3.9. I wasn't in my school's top 10. So I thought, there's no reason for me to apply for those scholarships. But that's not the case, is it? Talk about that.
I'll tell a story to my students. We had a young lady a few years ago that was average student, A's, B's, and C's. And she and her mother applied for every single scholarship that came up that she was eligible for.
I got a lot of them.
And we had our awards day. She got $12,000 in scholarships.
Wow.
But there was about 8 or 9 scholarships. And I had students coming up who had much better grades. Why'd she get more scholarships than me? She applied. And that's what it came down to. She had $12,000 and she was going to ECTC.
Right.
What did that mean? Her 2 years at ECTC were paid for.
And probably the third year
yes,
at a
she was completely paid for what she wanted to do, but she applied. If it was $500, if it was $750, she applied for every single scholarship. And a lot of times it comes down to that. Don't turn your nose up at a $500 scholarship because they have an essay.
And we hear so much from the people who organize those scholarships. Hey, nobody's applying for those scholarships, which... and it's not because you all haven't told them.
I've begged kids. I walked around last year and I said, hey, are you interested in a scholarship? They're like, well, yeah. And I'm like, fill this out.
Right.
And I was like handing them out. Because
I will email them to some of them too. Same thing, yeah.
I was passing them out. I was posting and reminding them, like, we have 0. If you apply, you'll get it. Like, it was crazy to really see how so many weren't taking the effort to write an essay. It's like 200 words. It's not that bad.
No, it's not that bad.
Yeah.
So we've talked a lot about college. Let's say I'm going to serve in the United States, whether that be Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard. What do I need to do? I'm sure recruiters are at your schools quite a bit, but what do I need to do if I want to serve my country in some form or fashion?
Bottom line is you still have to graduate.
Yeah.
And our ROTC instructors are in there with me reminding them, this one's falling behind. Does he realize he still has to have a diploma? I've told him you can remind him again. The Army does not want you if you don't show a diploma. What's the diploma show? It shows work ethic. And the Army doesn't want you if you're not going to work. They'll need to make sure that they have taken the ASVAB. So check when the school, see when the school's giving the ASVAB. And they can use their days. If they're going up to MEPS and some of these up to Louisville, guess what? Those college visit days, we can use those for that to get an excused absence.
Awesome.
So make sure you're checking in with your recruiters. And we have recruiters usually at least once a week. We have one branch or so coming in.
Yeah.
And shop around because they want you. And I feel like people don't realize that they can negotiate sometimes of sign-on bonuses and other things that they provide. So shop around with recruiters that are coming in to find what's going to not only fit your future goals. So many Air Force, Army, Marine, they all have programs within that they can help students with their ultimate goal of, like, let's say culinary degree or music. You know, any kid that has an interest can usually find a military branch that provides them a future job.
Now, if it's been a while since I've been through this, obviously, but if I serve a certain amount of years, do I still get free college, or am I dreaming that?
You still have the GI Bill.
Okay.
And it just depends on how they structure it. And the GI Bill's been altered different times on that. But yes, those are still available.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. So I'm not going. Not to say now I'm not going to college. I'm not going to the military. I'm gonna graduate and get a job. Can you still help me do that, Mr. Adams?
We actually have added it. Actually, COVID what triggered this. We started a jobs page, and we will get businesses will contact us. We're going to have jobs. The district does a job fair each year. But what you need to make sure you're doing is you're trying to finish up your career pathway, whatever that's for. EC3 is great with this. They are getting students already, get them certified and get them job training where they are ready to go in, where they have already got certifications for certain jobs. That's a great thing. Finish up some of the different career pathways the schools have. They can take classes where they can get certifications on there to be set where to go.
Yeah, and EC3 is a great opportunity, and it's just really an extension of your school, and John Hardin. It's not a special program or anything like that. Now, there are some waiting lists for some programs,
right.
Welding, health sciences, but what I'm hearing, guys, the common theme that I'm hearing from you is work hard and work ethic, and if I get that stuff done, it's going to be easier for me, easier path.
Absolutely. You just develop the skills that you're going to need in the future in whatever career, whatever college you choose. Some kids really get frustrated. Why do I have to take this class? I'm like, well, maybe you're not learning material that you're going to use, but you're learning critical thinking skills, or you're just learning work ethic of accomplishing something that you have to accomplish. And that's kind of a life lesson they don't always love, but I think that they appreciate it later. And just piggybacking off of what you said, absolutely look at those career pathways. It's just unbelievable how many we offer. I mean, there are districts that do not offer that, and I don't think people realize how blessed we are in Hardin County to have all that.
We've used the term work ethic. We haven't mentioned work ethic certification.
That's true. Yeah, talk
I mean,
about that.
our seniors, their English classes, they go through work ethic certification as part of their senior English class. They will do that, and the certain one, as long as you get a certain number of points, you get to the interview stage, which those are in April. And when you get that work ethic certification, they have to think about that. That gives you an opportunity to get an interview with one of the employers in the county that sees with that work ethic certification. And it's something that Hardin County offers that not all the counties do. Other counties have looked at our programs. What is this? And it starts, I know I have a fourth grader who does work ethic certification. Working in fourth grade. I have an eighth grader who's going to be coming in and starting on it from next year that East Hardin is doing. And because that's built into what we've done throughout their 12 years of school, this is the culminating thing to say, I have something. Do you have work ethic? Yes, and I have something that says I have work ethic, and it will go on their diploma.
Absolutely. And guys, that goes, but believe it or not, that is not the commonplace that it used to be, that work ethic, just that ingrained work ethic. And so to say that I've earned a certification that says I have it, that means a whole lot to employers, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So let's say I'm a little bit behind in my classwork, and I'm struggling to limp to May. There's still time for me to. Hopefully, there's still time for me to recover, but I don't need to wait around. Talk about catching up and getting to the finish line. We hope nobody's struggling getting to that finish line, but we know there's some folks that do. If I'm a parent, if I'm a student, what do I need to do to make sure that we're on track in May to walk across that stage?
The light's at the end of the tunnel. You don't want to give up now.
Right.
And I always joke that I'm nice till the third trimester. And if you're behind in third trimester, my job is to make sure you get a diploma.
Right.
And it's encourage, and after that third one, it's no, you need to get in gear. You don't give up now. You've got to stay through that. And senioritis is real. We know that. And I had conversation in December with a few of them. I just don't feel the motivation. And the parents going, senioritis is real. They've been doing this, and they don't see because they've just given up at some point. And COVID's had a little bit to do with that.
Yeah.
It's trying to get them back and realize what's going on with that, and just stick it out.
Yeah.
Don't quit on yourself now.
That's a good thing. I mean, or a good something to talk about. We're now seeing the after effects of COVID. COVID obviously it was bad, but now we're seeing students who have gone through COVID and talk about, Ms. Cheat, what you're seeing with that and what effect it's played on some of your students.
I've had numerous conversations where kids come in my office and they kind of just not collapse, but they just let it all go, and they are realizing, like, I really struggled and I don't want that to be my future. I can't really tell you how many conversations I've had with kids like that. And the first thing I do with all of them is we map out a plan. I have credit check forms. I'm sure you have something similar at Central where you just go through their transcript with them and you show them these are the classes you've done, these are the classes you still need. So we map out a plan. And I'd say any student that's concerned, reach out to your counselor and ask about like a graduation checklist, and we can provide that. Right.
So that's my culminating question. What I'm hearing too is I need to work hard, and I need to ask questions, and I need to ask those questions of you guys and your peers at your high schools.
And now, and not in April.
Much easier to fix in January.
Right. Because it is in April. You guys are
testing, and it's
testing,
crazy.
Graduating.
Yeah,
it is crazy. At the end of the year is bananas. So anyway, it's been a good time talking with our friends, Mr. Adams and Ms. Cheatwood, about what you need to do for graduation. There's lots of other things to prepare, lots of other ways to prepare. You need to ask these folks, and they both have guidance counselor pages on their website. They both are, all three of our schools can help students get to that. Can help students get to that point. And graduation doesn't start in September or August of your senior year. It really starts that first day of preschool or first day of kindergarten to get on that track. So again, if you have any questions, please contact the guidance counselors at the high schools or us at Central Office, and we can help navigate those pathways for you. Once again, thank you all for watching this edition of HCS Matters.